Hey guys, Buff here. Today I'm going to be making a Hollow Knight Silksong tier list for the bosses. My one caveat is I was unfortunately able to do 3 boss fights, being Chakra, Garmond, and the Steel Soul mode only one. But with that, I am going to take into account the difficulty and where it is in the game, the emotional weight, maybe lore implications. It's going to be more than just the fight. And with all that little fluff added to the beginning of this video, I appreciate you watching. Let's get right into the tier list. Our first boss in the game is obviously the Moss Mother. Typical fare, nothing crazy. I mean, it does its job, so I'd say it's a C tier. The fight isn't too incredible. It's exactly what it needs to be, I actually did the double Moss Mother fight way later on, and for the sake of just doubling up a boss, I've never been a fan of that. I don't see the point. I would actually rank it lower because I got used to the moveset and I hit the boss a little too late. On top of just double boss is not for me. This dude, I guess he is classified as a boss. I don't know his name. I'm gonna call him like the Skulk Eater. He just shoots at you early game, and then you find out that you can just jump up and battle of attrition your way to the fight to get some B shards. Yeah, I can't give him anything else besides D. The Skull Tyrant, 1 and 2. This guy, the first time you see him, is pretty cool. I would give him like a B tier. C tier. I'm giving him C tier. The first time you find him, he's just on the side of the map. He's just doing whatever he's doing. Pretty easy fight once you get used to it. But the second time you run into the Skull Tyrant, he actually destroys your whole goddamn home. And for the emotional weight that brings, I gotta bring him to B. It's, for what I remember, the exact same moveset though, so I can only bring him up so much. Next, we have the Bell Beast. One of my favorite things. I made a short on this. Some people were not happy about my interaction with it, but I was. I love this thing. I'm gonna go and put Bell Beast in A, because as a boss, it's okay. I really do like the fact that you can get a fast travel system by beating them up. But other than that, she's gonna be outclassed by a bunch of other bosses on this list, and I don't want to overdilute S because that's a special place. Lace, the first time you meet Lace sets up your whole rivalry. The fight's okay, nothing too crazy. I'd say B just for the story relevance, not even the combat relevance. Which follows into, I think this is Lace at the end of the game, if you're not doing Act 3 Lace, because Act 3 Lace is down here. This one's a lot better. This fight is actually phenomenal. I really liked it. A lot more emotional weight, kind of a last stand fight that you're aware of during Act 2. Yeah, so she's gotta get S tier. These two guys, which I don't know why there's separate photos. They're one and the same if I remember correctly. I'd say they're a pretty generic fight together. More annoying. This whole area with these dudes with the helmets on, I can't think of it right now. It's all lava. Extremely frustrating area for me. But yeah, I don't even know their names at this point. Let me see. Let me pull up their names real quick. Well, their names. Oh, there we go. Their names are Cygnus and Kron. Yeah, that dude. I didn't even remember that at all. That's how that's how little I gave a shit about them. But the fourth chorus, for where it is in the fight, and honestly, tell me down and below in the comments. For some reason, fourth chorus seems like he has a lot more like actual animated frames, like a higher quality everything. I ended up beating him the first try, and then the way you can, you know, drop the bombs on him or the lava rocks above his head. The whole fight was awesome, especially for exactly where it was. I was a big fan. That fight hooked me. At that point in the game, really hooked me, and I was excited for the rest. Which follows by probably the worst fights. I think everyone will agree. I'll give this guy, Savage Beastfly, a D because I have such... this one's the one in the lava, where like he's just in the way. There's a third one somewhere, so you know, I'm just gonna say, dude, fuck these guys. Honestly, worst designed boss, almost zero relevance in terms of anything for me. But I had to beat him for the side quests, so it is what it is. I despise him. I have nothing good to say. Next, we have Gur the Outcast. He was actually pretty fun. He sets up a bunch of traps. Kind of reminds me of the green moss thing from the original Hollow Knight, the one that glides on the ground. But But yeah, he was kind of cool. I think I beat him on like the second try. I didn't really get to do much. Kind of just beat my face against the wall. Yeah, that's all I really got to say. He's a pretty cool boss. Next, we have Morwing. Some people didn't actually get to fight Morwing right away, but I did. And he was just so fun, dude. You're introduced to that whole area with all the crows and crap. And just, honestly, the scythes, Garmon comes to help. I didn't get Garmon. I actually saw clips of that. I was fighting this dude alone. I saw people trying to cheese him, but I just went in intended. And, yeah, it was just such a good fight, dude. The Crawfather, I just beat this dude last night. This is why it took me so long to get this list. I've been trying to get all the little side bosses and make sure what I could fight is what I could fight, which is how I realized I didn't fight Garmon, I didn't fight Chakra, and I am not doing the Steel Soul mode for one boss fight. I'm sorry, maybe like a year and a half down the line, I'll do that again. But the Crawfather, the theme is cool. You know, you're at a court full of crows, and his combat's pretty nice. Fighting a boss while you're also getting attacked by mobs, genuinely, for me, usually it just brings it down. But him and his kit is pretty cool. I gotta give him a B. I just don't like having to fight ancestral tripids, whatever the hell they're called, from like Hollow Knight, but in crow form. This fight, what is this one called? This one's the fire something. The Father of the Flame. For what it is an interesting fight. So for like the actual mechanic of the fight, I would give it a C, B. You don't gain any soul or silk while hitting any of the fire things. So you're just practically pogoing. Yeah, I'll put a clip of me fighting this dude, and if you have the equipment that when you do a jump, saw blades come around, you can decimate this boss. So yeah, all in all, B. Splinter Sister, or Sister Splinter, I'm actually gonna give an A. I like the fight, and if I had to play her later on in the game, it would be a lot lower. But for where it was in the game, it felt like the progression of this boss fight and my skills were actually going with the game. And I had a good time. All the little traps, trying to make sure that the branches are broken before she slashes was also a good touch. I got nothing to complain about there. Now, Widow is where people are going to come into probably their first massive roadblock in the game. I think this is towards the end of Act 1. I liked Widow. They do have some bullshit that happens when they go phase 2 and the bells just start flying all over. But thematically, amazing. Boss fight, second phase. A good used second phase gives them more points in my eyes. And this one deserves another second phase. Some just don't. If the second phase is just I'm faster, not that big of a fan of it. Now, the disgraced Seth Lagoli? I'll give... it was funny. I'll give it a C tier, but it wasn't like the most... It was funny because she throws her ass at you. Like other than that, what am I saying? I think you gotta beat her for a side quest to get like a piece of meat or something. I will say there's someone out there probably dying because there's that stupid bug in the back that does the turn, and that was being used for edits. And I find that hysterical, but I can't give a background character animation points for the boss fight. So C tier it is. Dude, this guy Grohl the Great can just him and everything he comes from. I fucking hate you. I hate everything about it. So there's like a level of despise where like maybe he would have started at A, but then you had the small room with all the mobs to get to the fight, and then the goddamn wrecking ball comes in and hits you, and then he tries to suck you up. Then he goes like infected. I don't know what it is. He gets like possessed by spirit. I gotta give him a C tier. Like, he's a big bad. It is relieving when you kill him, but then I don't even understand like his lore that much because I'm just shrouded by hate right now. Looking at him puts you in such a bad mood. I'm gonna continue on. The Great Conch Flies, they're over there in the sandblasted steeps or something like that. You find one pretty quickly, which is the dual one, and you're just dealing with some dudes bouncing around. Also C tier. Actually, no, it was an alright fight. I don't mind when bosses go in multi directions, and you gotta find like that space to be safe. But the regular conch fly, once you kill his homie and then you find him hiding all the way somewhere else, he's mid. It was just a whatever fight. I can't even remember if there's like a special mechanic. Oh, he summons minions. Yeah, dude, definitely a D tier fight. Your boy disappears and you get a bunch of henchmen. Not liking that. Voltrum. I have a soft spot for Voltrum because it reminds me of the Jellyfish Fields, whatever it's called, in Hollow Knight. And thematically, it's just cool. It's the whole lightning area. I'm a big lightning guy, but the fight is pretty simple. He just pops his head up, and you gotta dodge all the little electrical fields. I got really used to that by the time I went to go fight him, so maybe I give him a B tier. Phantom. If you found your way to Phantom and you get the fight, everything about it is cool. The general fighting area, the reason she is the way she is, the mist, and the big clash where you get your silk skill, the relation to Lace. I'm putting a lot of value into the lore around Phantom, but the fight was still awesome. I loved it. S tier. All right, now this person, the last judge. Honestly, a really solid fight. Massive skill check, second phase where they're spinning and it's sending out fire waves and you're going to be perfectly in place. It almost, to a degree, remind me of Nightmare King Grim, which makes no sense because the movesets aren't there, but the pace, I guess, is what I'm looking at. But God bless and, rip the people that died to them nuking themselves, the last judge nuking themselves at the very end. I thankfully have been just so traumatized by this game that I saw smoke coming out of it and I ran away. I didn't want anything to do with it. So I dodged a bullet there. But all in all, awesome fight. And it's the way to get into the Citadel. Loved it. Now, I think for the most part, we're almost at just banger central for like the rest of this tier list. This is going to be an unnatural curve, which says something great about Team Cherry, right? Because the cogwork dancers, amazing. I mean, like, if I had to order this, I don't think any of them are beating the cogwork dancers. The rhythm, the pace, the story that is being told without any words being said. 3 phases, the last phase just being probably one of the most depressing things in the entire game. Awesome. And that's for now. That's like this act, and then might as well talk about the other one. Then you actually start doing all the stuff in Act 3 where you go in the past and you learn more about like the Green Prince, and then boom, you're fighting the Green Prince. And it's borderline the same fight, dude. But if you're copying borderline perfection, it's still almost perfection, and it just adds to that story. Dude, yeah, cogwork dancers, the Green Prince, the spirit, the love story there, the everything. It's the stealing, or what is it, like being drafted to protect the Citadel or doing it out of free will. The whole thing was awesome. I think if you put it any lower than S, you're just trying to get some. You're trying to elicit a reaction. Those both deserve S. Along with that, let's just continue. Probably the funniest boss and one of my favorite characters in all of the Hollow Knight series, Trobio. I'm going to give Trobio S tier as well. I'm not going to order this, but Trobio was fun. I love the play setting, how dramatic he is when you beat him. It feels very fair. It feels just enough chaotic. Yeah, and just everything about it. And the item you get from him, pretty solid. I love just solar flaring everybody after that, which turn and turn tormented Trobio, where he's just kind of become an edgelord. And I don't even know how much more is added, but it's the same fight in the same area, maybe a little more stuff happening. But his moveset is just a fun one to go against, man. And just him being him being an edgelord, him being all, what is it, Gravios? Is that the word I'm looking for? Awesome character, awesome boss fight. The second Sentinel has a great story. You get all the cogwork pieces, you go through. He comes. They come through. They protect you for a little bit, and then they wonder, "What is my purpose?" And they want to fight you. And you have a good old fight. And I would say I might be giving too much to S tier right now, but something about these cogwork dudes, man. This whole cogwork area. There's something solid about their fights. They really popped off in that general game design area. I'd give them an S tier. The Broodmother. This thing with the neck with the neck bracelet on. I hated it. I wanted to end this fight. Yeah, that's an F tier, man. I wanted to end that fight as quickly as I got in it. There was no, I have nothing good to say. I'm gonna carry on. If this was one of your favorite fights in the game, I'm sorry. The first Sinner, lore-wise, very cool. Their design looks odd to me. Like, I don't know, is it a spider holding on to like a dress? But the fight was really, really dope. This fight specifically reminded me of Hollow Knight in his prime. What was he called? Where he's like in the whole white outfit and then the why can't I remember? You know what I'm talking about. I'll put a picture. It's Hollow Knight when he's like not possessed and infected. That's what this fight reminded me of, and it was really sick. And you learn a little bit more. You know, you're in the outcasts. You're in like the depths, learning more about the sinners. I don't even know who this is, dude. The Unraveled. Okay, so I had to go back and like look at everything. This is Unraveled. Dude, this one was erased from my memory. I forgot about this fight. Yeah, it just bashes its head against the wall while mobs fight you, and then when you do enough damage, it like comes out, unravels itself, and starts spinning in a circle. I don't know, man. The fact that I can't even remember the fight, and I had to go back and like watch stuff on it. Yeah, no, I don't love it. I can't. It's so unmemorable. I needed a video to jog my memory. The Grandmother Silk, the boss you can keep fighting for multiple endings. I think it's a solid fight. Nothing wrong with it. Pretty easy, all things considered. Gives the vibe of a last boss for an Act 2, but secretly there might be more. Yeah, I got nothing much to say. The big claw slashes using all the needles to fly all over the place is pretty solid, nothing too crazy. This was a personal vendetta because I thought the Bell Beast died or got transformed into this Bell Eater. But the fight was pretty cool. They attack all over the place. Their heads come down. It's, you know, general. Pay attention to where you're going to stand. Get some hits in. Don't get too greedy because you're going to get spit on and you're going to get slashed from the side. The Palastag for like the lead up was pretty cool. I felt like I was on this grand hunt for like a mythical creature, and that's exactly what it did. The fight itself was pretty whack. It just kept essentially disappearing. I had to keep throwing my needle at it. Yeah, I'd give it like a B. B more for like the lead up and just how cool it felt to get to the boss. I think I would genuinely be like disliked and sent to like some sort of prison if I didn't put Seth into S tier. And outside of everything that happened with the guy who won and made this guy and unfortunately wasn't able to play as see his creation in the game, Seth is a really good fight. They did this amazing. You see him later on just kind of like sitting at camps too. But yeah, they did Seth a tremendous amount of justice. The fight is really cool. It's enough phases. It's enough moves. And honestly, it's really, really cool Team Cherry for what they did. This one, I don't remember the name. I do remember the fight. Let me pull it up so I can get some accuracy here. Nihilith. Nihilith is a fight where you're just constantly on the side of the wall, dashing across, slashing, grabbing the wall, dashing across, slashing. This like electric flower thing. It wasn't bad. Once you get into a rhythm, it's kind of fun. If you're not good at, I guess, clinging onto the wall and making your way back and forth, you'll hate it. But it was okay. It wasn't too bad. The Watcher of the Edge. He's a boss fight. Yeah, that's probably the best I could word it. He's a boss fight. See. He does nothing too crazy. He leaps up, strikes down, and then he's kind of like some basic enemies where they do the 3 slashes forward. And that's really about it. He doesn't have like a crazy moveset. Thematically, Crust King, which is such an awful name. Can we agree on that? Crust King Khan was awesome. He was a cool fight. I like him. All his little warriors protecting him as you go fight him. From my understanding, in the past, I don't know. He was just cool. It's a dope fight. He throws traps all over the place. He just gets faster. I did make a point that I don't like when the phases are just going faster, which is why he's not making it to A tier. But on the opposite spectrum, you have Scar Singer. What is it? Scar Singer Carmelita. You're another, I don't want to say playwright because I'm off dancer. She is a menace to society, but it was a very fun menace to society fight. So I gotta give it an A. I loved the surrounding area. Do you have to fight? You do have to fight waves to get to her, if I remember, and I'm gonna bring that down. I think you also did that with Khan. Something about I don't like arena fights that lead into a boss fight, man. I don't. Maybe I'm the minority, but just let me fight the boss. You know. Lace. Lost Lace, which is just this lace with some even crazier bullshit. I almost want to reduce her to an A. You know? We're saving her, that's cool and all. But this is just a possessed lace, in my opinion. And having a regular lace thematically is a lot cooler. I was not a big fan of the Void Tendrils on any of the people, even the MP, like little bystander villains, enemies, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, A. I would go back and play the second lace than Lost Lace. The Pinterest was fun. Very goofy little mindset. I think this is kind of like paying homage to the Nailsmith, where they kind of want to give up, but they want to like, hey man, let me see if I still got it. The lore of the other red Pinterest that gives you the ability to float with your dress or outfit is cool. I'm kind of giving points to that. I wish we could have fought them too and get more Pinterest things. But I gotta give Pinterest a B, because you're kind of stuck on this ice slope that you can fall and then, you know, go have to reset the fight as far as I'm aware of. Lost Garmond. See, I don't have the reference of regular Garmond, so I'm going off of just seeing this poor NPC be so brave and heroic with the little guy, Zaza. And then Zaza comes find you, brings you there, and then you gotta go fight this poor dude who's possessed. And even after you kill him, he's like, yeah, thanks, man. Like, you were strong. You got pretty strong. Emotionally, he gains a lot of points. But the fight itself, you're in one of the smallest rooms, and his attacks just take up a good portion. It's the balls that shoot sideways. So I was trying to dodge, but it felt very difficult in such a small arena. I can't give him more than... My gut is saying A, but I gotta go B. And then this guy, the one who practically overdoses Zongo on the plasma, he's a damage check that he just walks and spews stuff out. He reminds me of like the Skitter boss from Hollow Knight, the one that goes back and forth, stops, blurps, and then he keeps going. I can't think of the name, but maybe you'll know what I'm talking about. But the more you hit him, the more he spits out as the phases go, and then he goes and slides before he does it. Very, not boring, but very straightforward boss. And the fact that when he's towards like the very end, he's just spitting, dude. He's spitting all over the place. I hated it. I was not a fan of this fight. I was disappointed at the end of it. I felt like just unsatisfied. But yeah, I would say I'm sorry at the end of it for not beating Chakra, Garmon, and then the Lost Soul. I haven't even seen a video of this thing. It could be the biggest, biggest boss of the whole entire game. But this is my tier list. If you skip the whole video to see where I'm at right now, please at least like the video. It does help me. I know I'm shilling. I'm sorry. I know I don't post a lot of content, but yeah, this is mine. What would you change? Let me know down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.